500 kilometers north of Delhi, in the foothills of the Great Himalayan Range, nestles a small town called Dharamsala. In 1959, following China's invasion of Tibet, the Dalai Lama crossed over the Himalayas and escaped to India. Dharamsala is now the capital of Tibet in exile, the seat of the Tibetan government under the leadership of the Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama and the Tibetan community draw visitors from everywhere. Some seek spirituality, others are simply tourists. They witness a community striving to preserve its culture and identity in exile and find souvenir shops selling t-shirts, mass-produced art, and cheap trinkets. 4 miles away from the noise and chaos of McLeod-Ganges streets is a community where art and culture are being preserved in their real form, Norbulingka Institute. Their artists from Tibet are passing on their art to a new generation. Norbulingka Institute was named after the summer palace of the Dalai Lamas in Lhasa, Tibet. Norbulingka in Tibet was founded by the 7th Dalai Lama, a patron of the arts, in the 18th century, a time of political turmoil in Tibet. The architecture of the complex is based on the proportion grid of the Bodhisattva of compassion, Avalokiteshvara, the patron of Tibet. The building of Norbulingka began in 1988 and was functionally complete by 1995. Norbulingka is a trust chaired by the Dalai Lama, and it follows his vision of preserving and promoting Tibetan arts not only for future generations of Tibetans, but for the world at large. It strives to preserve Tibetan culture in the darkest moment of Tibet's history. The visual focal point and spiritual center of Norbulingka Institute is the temple. 1,173 images of the Buddha decorate the 44-foot-high temple hall. Other paintings depict the 14 incarnations of the Dalai Lama and the life of the Buddha. The gilded copper statue of the Buddha, made by the Institute's statue-making master, Pempa Doji, is the largest of its kind outside of Tibet. The temple is a tribute to many artists who worked for more than a year, sometimes long into the night, to bring it to completion. Norbulingka is a vibrant community. It is made up of refugees who are rebuilding their families and their lives in exile. Norbulingka strives to give back dignity, self-sufficiency, and family values to a group of refugees whose lives have been shattered by the recent events. Norbulingka provides security such as health care and daycare facilities to its families. Children's school fees are also covered by the Institute, and a bus takes school-aged children to school each morning. Norbulingka Institute employs and trains more than 300 Tibetans from all regions of Tibet. Qualified masters in traditional arts strive to revive the work ethic that once existed in Tibet. They teach young people wood carving, statue making, and religious or tanka painting. Master Tenpa Chönbe teaches tanka painting. The apprentices, whose training lasts 6 years, first learn to draw the tankas based on the proportion grids of various deities. Then fill in the pigments made from ground minerals and vegetable dyes. The fully qualified painters add the detail and finishing touches. Each tanka can take up to several months to complete. As in a Renaissance studio, it is the compiled effort of the apprentices and their master. Master Tenpa Chönbe also oversees the tanka applique section. These are similar to tankas in nature, except that they are stitched from thousands of pieces of silk and brocade, couched with horsehair, wrapped in silk and sewn on by hand. An applique tanka can be 13 stories high, as the ones hung in front of the Potala Palace in Lhasa on special occasions. At Norbulingka, the tallest one made was about 25 feet. The statue-making master, Pemba Doje, is one of the few remaining in the world to make large statues assembled from hand-hammered copper plates. Trained in Tibet, he came to India in 1960 and has spent his time working and instructing apprentices who take as long as 12 years to complete their training. A large statue made of copper plates and plated with gold can consist of over 300 different assembled pieces and take 10 people up to a year to complete. Master Chur Punzol was trained in southern Tibet as a builder and furniture maker. Apprentices trained for 6 years, making their own carving tools. They create thrones and altars for temples, instruments and folding tables assembled from elaborately carved wood panels. Carpenters make cabinets, boxes, frames, and other household objects. Carved pieces are carefully sanded and oiled or painted in the traditional colors. Cabinets are decorated with relief, then painted. Etching did not exist in Tibet, but was introduced to a number of young artists here at Norbulingka. They engrave their sketches onto copper plates, then paint the complete etching in watercolors. The first project implemented was a life history of the Dalai Lama in 50 etchings. Creating a bridge between the past and the future is important at Norbulingka. The Academy of Tibetan Culture seeks to link the past to the future and create a group of teachers and administrators who understand both their culture and how to pass it on within the context of today's world. Art at Norbulingka also creates employment and teaches skills and self-sufficiency to newly arrived refugees. The training workshop mostly employs women who have learned their highly refined skills at Norbulingka. Products include clothing and home furnishings. Norbulingka produces a range of quality gift items. These are being marketed in local outlets and exported worldwide. The production of hundreds of items is overseen by the production department, who distributes the work and checks the quality. The sales department produces catalogs and finds the markets for the products. All the young people working here have learned their skills at Norbulingka. Norbulingka takes care of the past as well as the present. It creates a sense of community and purpose to a people whose lives have been uprooted. It teaches them skills which will preserve the future of the Tibetan artistic tradition, as well as ones that will help them survive in today's world. Tibetan culture has been destroyed in its homeland. Norbulingka is its guardian until historical events take a better turn. This is its purpose for existing.
I'm Thupten Sawang. I joined Norbulingka Institute in year 2001.
10 years ago, I was in the plains of northern Tibet.
I'm a Tibetan, but I've never been to Tibet.
At the age of 18, I used telephone for the first time.
Norbulingka Institute gave me a new dimension to explore my capability in preserving Tibetan arts and culture.
Norbulingka has made Tibet a reality to me, and it has helped me understand my origin and appreciate my culture.
Now at Norbulingka Institute, technology has become part of my everyday life and helps me to introduce my culture to the rest of the world.